What's up, guys, and welcome back to the journey. My name is Roger, and in this video I'm going to tell you my best cards to buy right now between $60 and $100. And I've done a couple videos like this, best cards under $20 and best cards from $30 to $50. If you want to check out those videos, they'll be in this playlist. A lot of people have really liked those, as well as a couple other videos you might find helpful for investing and buying Pokemon cards. Of course, if you guys like this video, make sure you subscribe. Whether you agree or disagree, I would love to hear your thoughts, so make sure you leave a comment. Even if you completely disagree with my list, I don't just make these videos just to tell you what I think, but I want to hear feedback and want to know what you guys think the best cards are for this price. So make sure you leave a comment, and before we get started, hit that like button. That really helps me out with the YouTube algorithm. But let's get right into this. My first cards on this list are my favorite full art trainers ever. And they are right here. I've got a couple starting to build my collection. Erica's Hospitality and Sabrina's Suggestion, both from Team Up, actually, my favorite Sun and Moon set. All you Team Up fans out there, make sure you leave a comment. Let me know that you guys like Team Up. It's such a stacked set, and I love these cards for a couple different reasons. Number one, Sabrina and Erica, especially Sabrina. She's probably the most memorable trainer, gym leader from that original Indigo League series, the original Pokemon series that so many of us grew up watching in the late 90s, early 2000s. So that's one reason. It just brings back so many memories. Number two, I mean, I gotta look at them again. The artwork is seriously amazing. The colors just pop so much. The backgrounds and everything about these cards is really amazing. I really believe in these cards for future growth because of those reasons. Also, Team Up was never reprinted. Now, if Pokemon doesn't reprint these, they are for sure going to be among the most valuable full art trainers. Even if they do reprint Team Up, they're definitely going to remain strong, I think. But I'm kind of hoping they don't reprint, because I'd love to snag a few more of these and get them graded. But the PSA pop report also is fairly low. All right, next up, I'm going to go with a promo card. This one is really cool too. It's the Toys R Us Charmander promo. And I like this card for a couple reasons as well. Number one, this was released in 2016 when XY Evolutions was released. And of course, it is a reprint of the base set card, that iconic base set Charmander that also showed up in Evolutions. But this is the only version that I'm aware of that is actually a holographic. So that's really cool. Plus, of course, it's got Toys R Us printed right on the card. So it brings back so many memories for people my age growing up going to Toys R Us. I think it's got a really strong future. You can get these for around $60 to $90. It's worth it to spend that little extra if you find one that is well centered and really in mint condition, because the PSA pop report is actually pretty low on 10s. They don't grade super easy, so there's a lot more 9s than there are 10s. So if you can snag a 10, I really think this card is going to be pretty desirable. Let's move on to a couple other modern cards before we get into some vintage stuff. Next up, Pikachu V from Vivid Voltage. I think personally it is the best card in the set, even more than Pikachu V Max Hyper Rare, which we actually just pulled. If you want to go check out that video, I'll link it in the eye above. But Pikachu V Full Art, I really think is the best card in the set, and I'll tell you why. When Vivid Voltage was released, Pikachu VMAX Hyper Rare, of course, was the most valuable and still is by a pretty large margin, but that price has come down within the last couple months, and the Pikachu V Full Art started at around $30, believe it or not, when the set was released, and it's gone up to about $80 or $90, and it's remained strong there. And it would not surprise me if in the next few years those prices get a little bit closer together. So I really like the Pikachu V Full Art. The artwork is amazing. And as popular as Pikachu is, he rarely gets a full art Pokemon card, which is pretty interesting. So I think it's got a very bright future. Also, the Hyper Rare VMAX has a really high PSA population report. It's got almost 1,000 PSA 10s. And the Pikachu V, I believe, is under 200, which is pretty interesting too. So I really like the future for the Pikachu V Full Art. All right, one more modern card I want to hit on. They're actually Indonesian cards, and I would love to hear some opinions on this. But the KFC Promo Indonesian cards, I think, are pretty cool because there's a few different versions made. I think the two best ones, of course, are the Pikachu promo and the Team Up Charizard promo that they reprinted for this. And it's interesting, of course, because it's a KFC promo. It's an Indonesian exclusive, so it's not going to be super common in the US. So I'm going to be looking at picking up at least one of each of those. I think those are pretty cool, and some collectors might want those in the next few years. So I wanted to mention that quick. But let's move on to some vintage stuff. Really excited about this. The first one I'm going to talk about is this, the Neo Premium File 1. And this, I actually bought this for around $20 when I first got into collecting last year. $20. And I remember at the time, I remember thinking, why is this so cheap? Why is it only $20? But they've gone up to about $80 or $90 now. I think it's still a good buy. Whether you want to keep it sealed or you want to do what I did and open it up and get the hollows graded, I think it's definitely still a great piece to have in any collection. And if you want to watch a video of me opening this and the premium files 2 and 3, I'll link that video in the eye above. I think it's still the only video on YouTube where somebody actually opens all 3 premium files. But next up, let's move on to a band card, Misty's Tears, the Japanese Misty's Tears. From Gym Heroes or Gym 1, whatever they call it in Japanese, I think is a really good card. Again, it's a banned artwork, as you can clearly see why it was banned, but it definitely has a great story behind it, being a banned artwork, and definitely still for under $100 you can get really mint copies of these, and I think it's got a bright future, along with a couple other banned artworks from that era as well. All right, but let's move on to the last couple I want to mention, and if you haven't already, please hit the like button. Also, if you haven't already, if you like this video, go ahead and subscribe. I'd love to go on this journey with you. But let's go on to the last couple on this list. To me, there is a whole era of cards just after the e-reader series to the sets before XY. A lot of those cards are undiscovered by a lot of collectors, especially new collectors. And so I think there's some really good untapped cards in that era, and I might come out with a whole video of the best cards to invest in, because again, I think there's a lot of really solid cards you can get for a good price still, because just not a lot of people know about them. Some of my favorites that I'm looking into investing in for this price are the EX Delta species cards. I think that's one of the coolest concepts they've come up with in Pokemon, where, for instance, there's a Charizard with an electric type designation, which is pretty cool. So, and the artwork is really interesting. There's a Blastoise with fighting type. It's a really cool series, and I think they're going to be pretty collectible. The artwork is really unique, and again, it's an era that a lot of people don't know about. Let's move on to the last ones. One of the sets that I really love is the Gym Challenge, the Gym 2 set. Especially in Japanese, there's some amazing cards. Blaine's Moltres, which I have, Erica's Venusaur, which is behind me, I believe, and a few other ones. But those two are a couple of my favorites that you can get for that price. You can get really minty copies that have a chance at a PSA 10 for under $100. Those are a couple that I would definitely add to this list. That whole set is really stacked, and I think the artwork is really underappreciated even still. So those are going to be my last couple on this list. Thank you guys so much for sticking with me to the end. If you guys could, again, if you haven't, leave a like and leave a comment, because I want to hear what you think of my list, and I want to hear your best cards for this price point. And if you subscribe, make sure you hit the notification bell, because I'm going to be coming out with more videos just like this, and I don't want you guys to miss them, as well as some giveaways too. But you guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Have an awesome day. Be good to each other. And remember, we're all on this journey together.